Well, hello, everybody. Again, we are back again on a Sunday, Knowledge is Power podcast live. And I am so grateful to be here. We had a week. Didn't we have a week? So let's sit back here and let's see if I can bring my co-host on here and let us get it started. Hello, how are you? Good to
I'm
see
okay.
you.
How are you guys?
I was just talking about just talking about what all this week, what happened all this week. But tell me what went on. I know we had to prepare
Oh,
for
we have been having a week that you would not believe. Between the increasing COVID numbers at the White House and the over increasing COVID numbers in Texas as a whole, we are dealing with Hurricane Delta. We are dealing with get out the vote efforts. We are dealing with so much right now in the local politics and abroad nationally, honey. We can't even cover it all if we tried.
I
So
tell
I
you.
am super excited to be here tonight, and we have Joseph so that we can talk about local politics and getting out the vote here locally.
Yes.
Voting starts October the 13th through the 30th. And we're looking forward to that. Even though we missed our riding with Biden caravan because of Delta, we're looking forward to what we can do this week to make sure that each person needs to reach 7 people. So we're looking forward to that. Each person needs to reach 7 people, and that's big for our community right now.
Yes, that's 7 people. Everyone reach out to 7 people and bring them to the polls. Also, if you're needing help, you need to ride to the poll, please contact me at Knowledge is Power Podcast. Send an email or text or a comment in the comment box that you need a ride to the poll. I will have a van ready to roll. We want to bring you to the polls. Accomplishment from we want to make sure you get to the polls, and I'll be sponsoring that. So, also, we Knowledge is Power, and we'll be at the polls itself, going live at the polls,
Right.
and visiting with those who are voting, and just let you know how much we appreciate you coming out and voting. And so, we want to make sure you there, and we want to enjoy ourselves as we line up at the polls, and also be patient. Be patient.
Right. Be patient.
It's going to take some time to vote this time, but be patient. Bring something to drink, water, cooler, whatever you drink, to cool you off. Bring your lawn chairs. We're going to vote. We're going to vote like we never voted before. Okay. And our guest tonight is going to be Joseph TRAHAN, the Democratic chairperson of Jefferson County. So he's going to be on here giving us all type of voting information as we continue to early voting. Early voting starts Tuesday, October the 13th. So that knowledge is power.
And we want to just encourage people to make sure they wear their mask. Don't just bring your sandwich and your water. Make sure you got your mask.
Please bring your mask, and we're going to pray for safety. Everybody stay safe. Knowledge is Power Podcast Live is a platform to share important information by educating the Southeast Texas African American communities with valuable info on health, education, local politics, business, and personal finances. We do this every Sundays and Tuesdays evening right here on Facebook and YouTube Live. So let's bring on our guest, and our special guest. Well, he's special. He's the Joseph TRAHAN, the Jefferson County Democratic headquarters. I'm not headquarters, but Jefferson County Democratic chairperson. And Joseph, welcome.
Thank you so much, Tony and LaDonna, for having me this evening.
Yes, it's a great show, great time, good time. We've been polling for this for almost a year now to get to this point where we can get out and do that we need to do, and that is a vote. And we're going to vote heavily Democrat, all blue, voting blue. And that time has come. So we just ready, and I know we're fully ready to do that. So with that being said, we're going to also talk about the candidates, the Democratic candidates that is running for office, and we want to support them as well. LaDonna.
Yes, sir. We definitely have several candidates that we are going to be supporting. Are we going to pull up push cards and placards now?
Yeah, we're gonna no, we yes we are, but we're gonna visit with our chairperson.
Okay, we're going to visit
Well,
with Joseph. So
yeah, we're
let
gonna
me,
visit with Joseph. We can still pull the push cards, and we're gonna talk about them. And while I have Joseph here, he can ad lib as well, so he can push
okay, Joseph. So
too.
tell us about the Riding with Biden event. Is that going to be rescheduled? I know that Delta took a toll on what we had planned for the weekend, and I was texting and calling you over the weekend, like, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do? How are we?" And he was like, "Well, just wait. We're gonna play it by ear." So, what is the upcoming events for the Get Out the Vote effort now that Delta's over? Have we rebounded, or we still everything's up in the air? Give us a little local update.
Well, I'll tell you at this point, like it's the story of our election season. Everything is up in the air. It seems like
Right.
you can't go one day to the next without something unexpected,
Right.
unprecedented, unplanned takes place. And really, I think when it comes to the history books, this will be known as one of the most unconventional election years in U.S. history.
For
And so
sure.
it's quite interesting whenever you are a first term chairman walking in with about 3 months in your position, having to undertake something that no other elected official in this position has had to deal with. And so with that, I know that there has been a lot of uncertainty surrounding our community, whether it be some sort of natural disaster, flooding,
Right.
uh, or even with the coronavirus. I mean, who would have ever thought that we would have to be on lockdown for the better part of a year due to a pandemic that seems to be airborne and infects people just when you have person to person contact. And so I think all of that together really causes a lot of people to lose faith. I really think it impacts the spirit of the community. But what I want to say is that elections and its consequences have far more longevity than do a natural disaster or even a virus such as COVID-19, which is why it's incredibly important that we stay focused and prioritize elections. Because again, the people that we put in place are the ones that have to plan and respond to natural disasters, as well as things like airborne viruses or economic downturns, which all three of which we've experienced in just the last few months. And so it's incredibly important that we stay encouraged and recognize that our power is within our vote. And despite whatever obstacle has been placed in front of us, that really is the American story. We've always been able to overcome these obstacles. And this is just one more issue, whether it be the virus or a natural disaster, that we will overcome. We always have and we always will. And so, with that in mind, we literally have an election already taking place among people who are voting by mail. People are already selecting individuals that they would like to represent them in various offices right now. And then, of course, the rest of us who do not qualify to vote by mail will begin our voting this upcoming Tuesday, October 13th. And it will go on for nearly 3 weeks until October 30th. And then, of course, November 3rd, Election Day. I highly encourage everyone watching this program to share on their social media pages and comment any questions or concerns or even tag people that need to know this important information. We know that with everything that has transpired, that it is going to have some sort of impact on voter turnout. We have seen that this election will be the first one where we don't have straight ticket voting. And it's really important that people recognize that when they go to the polls. There's no longer a one and done. You have to actually go down the entire ballot. And when you go to the voting machine, you have to shift through multiple pages until you complete your ballot. And that means not just going in to select president and vice president, which will be Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, but going all the way down the ballot and passing Adrian Bell, who is running for Congress, And before that, you actually, so in ballot order, you have president and vice president. Then you have U.S. Senate, which our candidate is M.J. Hager. Then you have the U.S. House, who our candidate is Adrian Bell. And then, of course, we have people like Krista Castaneda that are running for railroad commissioner. That has a lot to do with environmental protections and policy that impact places like Port Arthur. And then, of course, we have state representative and state senate. That's Jay Sittleberg, as well as Joe Deschanel. We have a number of judgeships that are going to be on the ballot. We have Sheriff Zena Stevens, who has an opponent. We have Constable Javon Pollard. And we actually have a write-in this go around. Her name is Marinette Parkerson. So if you live in Commissioner Precinct 1, who previously your representation would have been, and I've really already forgotten his name because he's a Republican, so I'm not too concerned, Eddie Arnold. He is no longer running for re-election. And so our write-in candidate, who happens to be a Democrat, is Marinette Parkerson. So when you go and actually go to the ballot, whether you're writing in her name, which is M-A-R-I, that's what you select. Or if you go to the poll, you have to use the little round tabulator and select M-A-R-I. And so we have all of those different races taking place. And I know it's very difficult for everyone to really remember and focus on every single name and every single office. And so what I implore you to do is take a deep breath. There may not be straight ticket voting, but every single race has a political identifier, meaning that when you look at, let's say, Sheriff Zena Stevens' race, you're going to see names of people who are running against her. And to each of those names, you'll either have REP, meaning Republican, or in her case, DEM, meaning Democrat. You want to select every name.
Well, let me stop you.
Yes.
Got a question. Want to stop you. Okay. So I was aware that we're going to have sample ballots that for the first time in a while, it's not illegal. You can take that sample ballot inside the ballot box with you. Is that correct?
You're absolutely spot on. You are legally entitled to be able to walk into any polling location with a sample ballot already filled out with every candidate that you should be voting for to use as a reference.
Right. We want to make that crystal clear.
Yes.
That we should have a representative at every polling location that can provide you a sample ballot that since there's no straight ticket voting, you can take that piece of paper into the polling location with you and use it as a guide for selecting your candidates. Is that correct?
That's correct. And in fact, you can also bring in, for example, our candidate slate card. I got verification from County Clerk Carolyn Guidry, and you'll be seeing that, I believe, later on in this program to give you an example of what a slate card is, which is basically a list of our key candidates. Given that I am chairman of the Jefferson County Democratic Party, my number one priority are our local candidates. And then, of course, the logic is if people are already going down ballot, they're going to see all the other candidates that are running for national and statewide office, and they'll be selected anyway. And again, whether you walk in with a sample ballot or not, just remember, DEM is who you're looking for in each of the races. Every single race has an identifier. And something else to keep in mind, every single race that has a Republican and Democrat running against each other, Democrats are number 2 in each of the races. So, for example, Joe Deschanel is number 2 in his race. Zena Stevens is number 2 in her race. Javon Pollard is number 2 in her race. So look at each race from the presidency on down and select every individual that is number 2 in that ticket.
I'm super excited about that. So I just want to reiterate and clarify, and let's just make sure that we got this straight.
Mm-hmm.
I think my camera's freezing up, but we are number 2 on the ballot, and there's an identifier out to the side of each Democratic candidate that says DEM, and you can bring in a slate card or a sample ballot with you into the ballot box.
That's correct. Absolutely. You're spot on. And we're going to work towards, we know our candidates are going to have people working the polls and distributing that sort of literature. We also, at the Jefferson County Democratic Headquarters, located at 2211 Calder in Beaumont, have those slate cards and sample ballots already filled out. We are operational Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. With the exception of What I will say, with the exception of today and yesterday, due to Hurricane Delta, we're actually out of power still at the headquarters. And so we're hoping that Entergy Texas will have that resolved as soon as possible. But we're not going to let that stop us. We're still going to make sure that we're able to provide necessary materials to anyone that is looking to support our candidates.
Now, Joseph, that not just including Southeast Texas, that's including the entire state of Texas, correct?
Right.
In
Yes.
terms of the races, yes, from presidency
Yes.
on down to our write-in candidate.
Right. Now, because, here in Southeast Texas, we want you to vote, and we want you to vote for your local candidates, and we want you to vote for your national candidates, your state and national candidates. And we've got more listeners from around the state of Texas now than we've had before. So I want to make sure and make them aware that those rules requires in Texas only. Make sure that because we don't have straight ballot ticket anymore, correct?
No.
Correct.
No.
No one and done.
Right. So
And
when
this is
you
the
go
first election that is actually taking place.
yes,
So
so
you're not missing out on anything. This is a first.
right. So when you go into the poll, people, you're going to vote number 2 position. That's what it says, a DEM, Democratic,
Yes.
and you're going to go all the way down.
In every race.
On every race, not just it's not a one punched anymore. It's all the way down. You have to go all the way down to. If you have questions, there's going to be a voting attendance that's going to be there to help you answer your question, or you're confused about something.
And we are taking volunteers, right, Joseph? We want to make sure that we get people that, if they want to help out and participate in working at the polls, to just help our Democratic people that are going to vote. We want to make sure that we have volunteers that are handing out those sample ballots, that are making sure that people know what to punch all the way down the ticket. We want to be here for you. So if you want to volunteer, if you're off from work, if you don't have anything to do, the Jefferson County Democratic Headquarters is accepting volunteers to help us work these polling locations, so that we can train you, and that you can go out to the polls and whatever these locations may be, and make sure that people understand what the procedures are, what they are legally allowed to do, and what the requirements are for Democratic voting, and what candidates to select. We need to make sure that we straighten this out where fool dare not error. We want to make sure that there's no mistake in what we're doing.
Absolutely. You're spot on. And I know our local candidates are doing a great job with marketing, whether it's radio, billboards, television ads, trying to remind people that in order to vote for them, they have to go all the way down the ballot. I will also say that it's incredibly important that we have assistance with literature distribution, meaning helping hang door hangers in key apartment complexes and neighborhoods that we need to get out the vote. And then also phone banks. We can provide lists of people that are registered to vote, that are in our high DPI precincts, meaning high Democratic performing precincts, to flush them out. Because the biggest goal is to get people out to the polls. And then we will also make sure that among our candidates and volunteers and the ones that we're able to provide, we add that extra education right before they go in to vote. This election is critical. We talk often about how every election season seems to be the most important in our lives, but this is no game. This is no joke. Not only do we have critical local incumbents that have Republican opponents, but we also have the presidency to take into consideration. We have the ability to flip Texas, to flip it not only for the White House, but also our U.S. Senate seat. Those things are critical, because the more power that Jefferson County is able to wield through our vote, the more influence and impact we will have on an election outcome that impacts our entire country. That's how much power we have in Jefferson County. We just have to own it, recognize it, and go out voting, knowing that we are a critical county for the state. We are the final blue county in East Texas, and we'll fight like hell to make sure we remain so.
If we go out and vote, we need to vote in the masses, because we don't want a short margin in the voting. We want to make it sure that we are voting and make sure we've got all the votes. Tell the audience how many How many votes we missed in 2016 to the Republicans?
Well, for example, Donald Trump won Jefferson County by less than 430 votes. So when you think about that, we know that our people just didn't go out to vote. We saw
Right.
that clearly in 2018 with some of the losses we experienced. And realistically, when we do lose races, it's by razor thin margins, which means that all we need to do is maximize voter turnout in our key precincts. So that means being able to reach out to the people that are within our sphere of influence. As LaDonna had mentioned earlier about one reaches seven, it's incredibly important that all of us make it a point of holding responsible our friends and family members to go and vote, and verify that they vote by requiring them to participate in group chats and have them send proof of voting, which is either I voted sticker or, more importantly, a receipt that every person receives with a timestamp indicating that they voted. And it's just a good thing to really keep people accountable, because if all of us and each person that's voting made sure that everyone in our family, everyone within our major friend group went out and voted, we would shut it down here in Jefferson County, and no Republican would ever think twice about running against a Democrat.
That's absolutely correct. You are right on it. And my suggestion is that we get out and vote early. Vote
Yeah, you have
early.
to.
Yes.
You must, to avoid long lines. Don't wait until November 3rd. And this also goes for people voting by mail. As soon as you receive your ballot in the mail, you follow all the instructions, go all the way down ballot, select every Democrat, every name with DEM next to it, and seal it, sign it, send it back the same day. Don't wait several days. Don't wait until 2 or 3 days before Election Day. Because the way that the Postal Service is working, we know that the sooner you get that ballot out, the more likely it will be in the hands of the county clerk's office before November 3rd. If you
And what
wait,
we need,
hold on.
wait and you say, oh, tomorrow's November 3rd, let me send this in the mail, you're playing yourself. You don't want to wait so close before an election to send your mail ballot. As soon as you get it, you send it back the same day, no excuses. And if you do decide to wait late, and I know that we're going to have some Johnny-come-latelys that happens in every single election cycle, make sure that you know that you can actually drive to the county courthouse in downtown Beaumont. There will be a drive-through lane set up in the parking lot where you can physically turn in your mail ballot as long as you have a form of ID verifying that it is you who is turning in that ballot. You can do that beginning October 13th, all the way through early voting October 30th, and then, of course, Election Day, November 3rd. But use that as a last resort. If you're receiving your ballot now and you haven't filled it out or returned it, do it tonight, do it tomorrow, and just get it done. It's one less thing to be stressed about, one less thing to have to remember, and you want to make sure that there's no excuse for your vote to be denied.
and what we want to focus on, what the most important imperative thing is, if you have that mail-in ballot and you plan on mailing it back, let's be clear. Let's focus in on Beaumont, Port Arthur, Orange, Neyland, Bridge City, Jasper, Coons. All of these areas have been impacted by the hurricane. You don't want the mail to be affected, or maybe it is or not, but you know what the situation is with power outages and down power lines and roads being blocked and all of this and that. You don't want that to affect your ballot. Send it in as soon as possible. You know this area's been devastated. You know that where you live has been affected by hurricanes and COVIDs and this and that and the other. Make sure that you're proactive. Don't be reactive. Don't wait till the last minute. Joseph is not like me. He's a little emotionless. Let me stress and put a little passion in on it. We need them ballots turned in effective immediately. We want you down at the polls voting early. We want you turning in the mail ballots early. If you're mailing it in, mail it in now. As soon as you get it, within 24 hours, you need to send it in. If you're bringing it to the polling place with your ID, bring it in ASAP, effective immediately. Don't wait till the last minute. If you're going to vote, vote early. Don't wait till election day. We need to turn out in record numbers, like our life depends on it. Do not wait until election day. Don't wait until it's a couple of days till it's time to turn it in. We need those ballots in now. Kind of like that census that I was arguing with y'all about. Let's get this straight right here, right now. Y'all see what's going on. 180, 90 judges have been put into place that is going to affect decisions and changes for years and years to come. You see what we're dealing with COVID. You see the COVID numbers is on the rise. You see the president is creating super spreader events. You see that people are dying in the streets at the hands of police brutality. If you're not happy about the current condition and the state of your economy, people are losing their jobs, people are losing their homes. This is your time to let your little light shine. Okay, make your vote count. Let your voice be heard. We want you to get out the vote. I can't express it enough. I don't know what we need to do. We have the Democratic chairperson here, Joseph TRAHAN, telling you don't wait till the last minute. Send those ballots in now. Go and drop it off. Go and early vote. We can't express that enough tonight.
Girl, you gonna be my spokesperson when I run?
Let me tell you. And we want to make it plain. Well, fool, they're not error. We want to bring it down where every child, every person, every individual, whoever under the sound of our voice, that you understand what we're saying. And if we're not making it plain and you don't understand what you're saying, what we're saying, please put it in the comments. Tell us what you have an issue with. Tell us what you do not understand. Tell us whatever questions that you may have so we can address it tonight. Because tomorrow, Tuesday, is the early voting start, and we need everybody to reach somebody. It's not enough to just bring yourself. In this election, we're gonna have to make the numbers count in droves in order for this president to accept a peaceful transfer of power. We're gonna have to go above and beyond. That means people that didn't vote, people who don't believe that they vote count, people that sitting at home talking about it don't matter, I'm not doing it because all politicians is crooked and none of these people ain't no good and everybody's wrong and all of this and that. We still need you. We talking to you tonight.
That's right. A no vote is a vote for Trump.
Okay.
And we've got to vote. Everybody has to vote. We've got to vote like we never voted before. Like I said, there's no excuses because I'll be furnishing transportation to the polls. We're going to be pick up whatever we need to do. We are going to vote here in Southeast Texas. Moment, Texas. We're going to vote. We are going to vote. Now, also, I'm going to come back to you, Joseph, but I want to make sure you people know that if let's see, if you are you have rights. Voting, you have rights to vote. And if you are impeded on during the election or you're at the poll and you're impeded on, let me explain to you that, let's see here, I have some homework on that too. There we go. Here we go. All right. Let me cut down on the down off because she's popping. There we go. Okay. This is something that you need to understand and you need to know when you are at the polls. Voting is your rights as a citizen. If an alleged poll watcher tries to impede you at the voting booth, three things. One, tell him to kindly, or whoever, him or her, to kindly step away, step out of the way. Two, take his picture with your cell phone. Three, and call the FBI. And that's your information there. The FBI Civil Rights Division staff will be available by phone to receive complaints related to ballots access. That number is 202-307-2767 or toll free at 800-253-3931. The U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, and which is a voting section that can be reached at 202-307-2767. Please pass this on if you are aware of this now. Please pass this on if you're watching. Make sure that we get that information out. So again, if you're watching the show and you are later on and you happen to see this information, please share it with your tag your friends and share this information with them as well. So that's, again, if you are in a polling place and a poll watcher location and a poll watcher tries to impede you on your voting rights at the voting booths, you can tell him to kind of step aside or move away, or take his picture with a cell phone and call the FBI. That is some very important information, people. I am telling you, that is what you've got to do. Do not
Yeah,
let
that is
it
huge
on
because
you.
it's a bunch of people that are anticipating these so-called patriots showing up at polling locations to impede voters or deter voters or distract voters or suppress voters or intimidate voters. So this is important. This information is important. If you feel like somebody is shooting at you or harassing you or trying to stop you from going complete your vote, call the FBI on them. They're going to get this straight. That's what this number is about. This is important information.
Yes, and you can, and also even if you're in the parking lot of the polling
Can
location.
anyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you real well. I'm sorry. Let me bring you back on,
I can't
Joe.
hear anyone if anyone's speaking.
Yeah, hold on. I'm talking. Can you hear me? Let's see here. Where are you,
I
Joe?
can hear you.
I
I
can
think
hear.
sometimes you gotta log off and log back in. It'll cut you
Yeah,
off.
I can hear you very well, Joe. Can you hear us? Put your thumb up.
I don't think he can. He might need to
I can't
log
hear
off and log.
anything. I can see you, but I can't hear anything.
Okay,
You need
well,
to log off and log back in.
log off and log back in.
Let me chat. Let me chat with him.
Okay,
I'm gonna send him a
check.
chat.
Okay, great. But again, let's go back to this. Make sure if even you're in the parking lot of the voting location, make sure that you are aware of your rights, and make sure you pass this on. Pass it on, people. Pass it on, and we want to make sure you get out and do what you need to do, and that is vote. And your vote does count. So let's see here if I can get our guest back on, Joseph Trahan. Okay, let's see what we get him back on here. Get people, and I thank everyone for watching Knowledge is Power podcast live every Sundays and Tuesday. I really do, and our audience has grown so much, and we're just delighted to have everybody to come on and watch us every week. And okay, I got everybody back on. Joe, can you hear me now?
I can hear all of you now.
All
I don't know what
right,
the issue
great,
was.
great.
I think
So
the
we
internet
got
went out,
Joseph
and then I don't
Trahan. We got Joseph Trahan with us, who is our guest. He is the Jefferson County Democratic chairperson. And Joseph, you're doing a wonderful job. I was in the office twice, I guess. I was in the office twice, and the excitement that is going on in that office just made bumps ground up my arms because it's functional now. It's working. It's functioning. It's working. It's moving, and people are excited about voting, invited about giving, passing out
absolutely.
information. People on the phone. I mean, the room where the phones are. It just you only see that in the movies,
Well,
but
I'll tell you that another thing that's very encouraging is there are a lot of new faces that are coming in to volunteer that have not traditionally participated in the Democratic Party or the democratic process. And I think
right,
that in part has to do with what tone you set for an organization and what your expectations are. And one of the biggest things that I really encourage is to have new people coming in to learn the process so that we can expand access among people in the community to the party, irrespective of their economic status, their race, their religious affiliation. I just want people that are true blues, that have a passion for our community to help put in the work. Because I'll remind people, the local Democratic Party is nothing more than you and I. I'm one person in a whole system, and I can make a great difference and I can affect change. But it's really pointless if we don't have people standing shoulder to shoulder, willing to put in the sweat equity to see our party move forward. And so that means volunteering your time, being willing to help out at the headquarters, making phone calls, and even donating to the party. Everything that we do is powered locally. We don't receive any support in terms of volunteers or monetary contributions from the national party or even the state party. It's all us. And so if we want to see a change, if we want to see improvements, you have to look at yourself and say, if not me, who? If not now, when? And don't expect someone to do something for you that you're not willing to do for yourself. And that's really my mantra when it comes to public service and in looking at how our party can move forward. It's to do things together, walk the talk, and see our party growth. And that's what I want. That's my goal, ultimately. And I'm glad that the both of you and many people watching share in that goal and are willing to put in the work to see it through.
LaDonna.
And I'd like to add each one reach one, because it's not enough for you and I to do it. We also have to encourage and solicit and implore other people to get involved. It's not Joseph and I and Tony can't do it alone. Joseph is correct. We all have to bring some more people with us. We got to encourage people and implore people, and light a little fire under their ass sometimes. Come on down. We need you now.
Right, right,
Okay.
right,
Sometimes we just got to tell them, come
right,
on down. We need you
right,
now.
right, right. And we need everybody, everybody. We need them to come on out and join the fun. I mean, and at the headquarters, it's nothing but fun. And everybody's just working, doing their thing, and it's organized. And and it just give me thrills when I just pass by sometimes and watch the signs out in front of the place and cars parked in the parking lot, and I know they are inside working and volunteering to make our Democratic Party with strength, giving us what we need to have to grow our party. So, with that, I want to make sure we understand, audiences, that we want you to grab 7 people and bring them with you. Seven. If each one of us brings 7, we can dominate the polls, and we're going to vote Democrat blue. We're going to have a tsunami blue party. With that, Donna, what you get to say there, sweetie?
All I want to say is come out in droves, vote like your life depends on it. And do not for one moment think that your voice doesn't count. Don't think that your voice doesn't matter. Don't think that everything has to be politics as usual. I always tell the young people, if you're not happy with the current situation and the way things are going, guess what? Then heads need to roll. And I think that in this particular game, you win or you die. So if you want to win, then you need to bring your ass up to the location. We need you now. We want to see you at the polls. I expect you to be there. And like Tony said, if you need a ride, contact us. We'll pick you up.
Pick you up. Oh, well, you almost blew a circuit here. Hey, but listen, she gets a little ratchet at times, So I can live with it because well, I enjoy just being here and doing what we do is try to encourage and educate our communities. And again, we're here to help you with knowledge, to help you to know what to do when you go to the polls. And one thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to say it again, I want you to vote early, right? I want you to get out and early vote early. Not sit around, not wait a while for the day. I don't wait for the weather. We're gonna vote early. As soon as you get your ballots in your hands, let's go vote. If you got problems getting it to the post office, call us, text us, inboxes here at Knowledge is Power, and we will come and get it and take it to the mailbox. It's that simple, people. We want you to vote. Again, I want you to say one more time. I think it was Joseph or it was you, LaDonna, that said that we there's going to be a ballot at in front of the Jefferson County parking lot, and
Yes,
that you
there will be a ballot drop off, pretty much
right,
like a drive through, if you will, at the
right,
Jefferson County Courthouse in downtown Beaumont, beginning October 13th, where individuals will be able to drive through with their ballot and physically turn it in without getting out of their vehicle. There will be elections officials present to accept it, utilizing, of course, PPE and being safe in terms of social distancing and utilizing the different protective equipment that's necessary to really protect a lot of the senior citizens who are conflicted. There are people that are conflicted because they know that they may be experiencing a certain disability. They may be having underlying health conditions that pose a direct threat to their life when they come into contact with people in the public, especially with COVID taking place.
right,
And so they're torn between sending their mail ballot through the mail and all the uncertainty that's been propped up by that man in the White House. And then, of course, also with that, figuring out, well, what do I do? I can't go vote in person, or I'm concerned about voting in person. So thankfully, we have that option where people can drive through and physically turn it in. You just have to have a form of ID that verifies that you are, in fact, the person turning it over. For example, if let's say LaDonna and her husband are both in their 70s, which they're not, but let's say they are.
Maybe.
And they both vote by mail, but they don't trust the mail system this election cycle with that man in the office. And so they want to physically turn in their ballot. What you both have to do is be present in the vehicle when you're turning in your mail ballot, and you both have to have a form of ID. LaDonna cannot turn hers over and her husband's without him present with his form of ID. That's
Right.
a way to maintain and protect the integrity of the election, but it's also to ensure that you as an individual are physically there to verify that your ballot was received.
Thank you, Joseph Trahan, our special guest tonight on Knowledge is Power. Now, this is the part of the program that we go into every segment of the show. Every show we go through this segment, and that is identifying our candidates. So, LaDonna, I'm gonna let you start off, and you're on the road.
That is Adrienne Bell, and she is running for Congress. And I'm not really certain if we have her. Oh, there we go. Senate District, Congress, U.S. District 14. And we are super excited about voting for Adrienne Bell because Adrienne Bell is our local girl and she's done a lot in our community. And we want to support her and make sure that you select Adrienne Bell on the ballot for District 14.
All right, let me move to another one. But with that, I've got this comment, and I want to kind of address it right now. Joseph, maybe you can help us here. Tara Grant is asking, I had COVID. Can I vote by mail? And I'm only just 64.
So, Ms. Grant, thank you for the question. What I will say is that the requirements put in place by the state of Texas in order to request a vote by mail application and then to vote by mail include being 65 years of age or older, having a disability that you deem to be a deterrent from being able to physically go and vote. You are incarcerated but not convicted of a felony, but you're in prison, or you are someone like, for example, a college student who is away for college, and you can actually request a mail ballot to vote in the county in which you live or lived for the most of your life while you were going to school.
Okay. All right. Joseph, you gone? You here? Okay. Oh, he's out. He's out again.
COVID, okay. I do think that you have to use your own judgment. And if you believe that you are currently experiencing something that's debilitating, you could actually request a vote by mail application. And the law does not require you to prove that you, in fact, have something by a medical professional indicating that you have a disability. It's really at the discretion of the individual voter.
All right. All right. Thank you, Joseph.
I would like to just add to that. You need to request that mail-in ballot ASAP, ma'am. If you plan on voting by mail and you haven't requested that mail-in ballot and early voting is October the 13th through the 30th, then we need that request like ASAP. If you have COVID and you're requesting a mail-in ballot, you know you on the downhill side of things because early voting starts on Tuesday. So if you feel like you have a disability that's going to prevent you from voting in person, you need to request that mail-in ballot yesterday.
Okay, wait, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, LaDonna. When is the deadline for mail-in ballot? Is it October the 23rd?
I think they have to have requested that mail-in ballot by October the 23rd. We need to verify with Joseph, but that mail-in request ballot needs to. Yes.
And I'm sorry, I don't know why my screen's not working. Can you hear me?
That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. We can hear you.
So what I'll say is that the deadline to request a vote by mail application is October 23rd. You should not wait that long or anywhere near that long to request a mail ballot. It's going against what it is that we've been talking about this entire segment, which is to take personal accountability and prioritize your vote. And that means voting early. And that also means requesting your mail ballot as soon as possible if you choose to vote by mail. Mail ballots have already started going out. People have already been voting, as I said earlier, and they're already sending them back to the courthouse. So time's a ticking. And so if you're going to request a vote by mail application, please do so as soon as possible. You can actually go to jeffersonelections.com. which is the county clerk's official website. And you can go there to learn about more information and contact numbers for how to request a vote by mail application, what the sample ballots look like, and anything that's election related.
Okay.
Again,
Today.
that's jeffersonelections.com.
All right.
Today.
Okay. Today.
Not another day. Today.
Today. Don't wait until it's too late. We're gonna do it today. Okay, now let's go here to the Donna. Well, I was gonna ask Joseph if you can see the screen. I can't see you, but I'm sure you can see the screen. I'm gonna let you let's see here. Where am I? Let me go here and let you introduce let us give us an intro on this young man.
Jay Stittleberg is actually running for Senate District 4. So for those of you that may remember, Senate District 4 was formerly held by David Burnson, and prior to that, Carl Parker. Jay Stittleberg is the first Democrat in approximately 20 years to run for this seat. His opponent is the Trump-backed Brandon Creighton. It's incredibly important that we show up for this individual because in the state Senate, he will be able to work with people like Joe Deschanel, who is in the state house, to try and get some legislation passed and get some more camaraderie and statesmanship going in that chamber of the Texas legislature. So I really look forward to seeing this individual on my ballot when I vote for him October 13th, because I think that he'd be a real asset, not only to the Democratic Party here locally, but also in the state Senate. To be able to work in the other chamber with State Representative Joe Deschanel. That's my vision for someone like that.
And isn't he a hometown boy? Don't leave out. He's a hometown boy now.
Well, he lives in our Senate district. He actually lives in Montgomery County. But
he's close to home.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's been here multiple times. He's been down here more so than some of our statewide candidates.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
I can see him. He's accessible. And I want you guys to know he's a hometown guy. He comes here often. He does not leave us by the wayside.
That's right. We know where we're going. Okay, Joe. That's the next is
this individual does not need much of an introduction, but her name, for those of you who aren't aware, is Zena Stevens. She is our current sheriff. She's done a phenomenal job that warrants her reelection. She has been able to save the taxpayers nearly $2 million within the sheriff's department's budget. She has improved community policing. She's made it a point of being very personable and opening up the office to be accessible to all citizens of Jefferson County. Property crime rates have actually gone down every year since she was elected. And so that means that people that own homes and businesses can sleep safer at night knowing that we have a sheriff and a sheriff's department that prioritizes community safety and support.
Okay. And
I just like to add that they have a mental health counselor, so they are on the cutting edge of, policing technology and making sure that they are accessible to areas that some police areas don't even cover. They do have a mental health counselor on staff.
All right. Now, Donna.
Oh, this is just my girl. I want to bring back the hat. Let us be clear. Javon Pollard is super innovative. She's super accessible. She's personable, and she brings a total different perspective to the constable's office. She breaks down what a constable is, what a constable should be doing, and what they've done to be innovative in the office and educating the youth and reaching out to the public and making sure that they have a rapport in the community. I'm super proud of Javon Pollard, and I want to tell everybody to bring back the hat.
Bring back the hat. And Joseph, kind of help us out with our state representative, Joe Deschanel.
So Joe Deschanel is someone who I've looked up to for a long time. He is a mainstay in the Southeast Texas community. He is one of the longest serving state representatives in the Texas legislature. And so what that means for Jefferson County residents is he has the seniority, meaning the prestige, to be able to really impact directly legislation more so than, let's say, a first-term state representative. He has been able to spearhead a number of very important committees that impact funding for things like healthcare, the local infrastructure, like our roads and bridges, trying to address issues of flooding. All of those things are within State Representative Joe Deschatel's ability to have influence over. And it's incredibly important that we reelect him. He is someone that has always been accessible. He's someone that is always one phone call away. He has a phenomenal staff that prioritizes constituent services. I look forward to voting for him October 13th.
All right. And finally, Donna.
I just love Marinette Parkinson. She is somebody who is really smart. She's actually a doctor. She has the educational background to, really bring the county commissioners up to another level. She has a level of integrity and just overall innovation for new ideas and new theories about how we should go about handling some of the problems and the issues that are affecting Jefferson County. And she has a way to try to save us some taxpayer dollars and make sure that we're working smarter and not harder. I am super excited to introduce this lady as a write-in candidate, and you have to write her in, Mari, on the ballot, and I am super excited about her.
All right. And I think that wraps it up. And I want to make sure you know that your vote does count, people. No vote is a vote for the rat, Trump. So we're going to vote, and we're going to vote like we never voted, like our lives depends on it. And thank you, Joseph TRAHAN, the Jefferson County chairperson, Democrat chairperson.
Thank you so much.
We enjoy your company. We enjoy your time here on this segment of Knowledge is Power podcast. And we'll be here back Tuesday, the first evening for first day of voting. And we're going to show you clips from the day at the voting polls, because we're going to be out live at the voting poll. And we're going to show those clips of all the people that's out voting, and we're going to be having a rally to get folks out and vote. So we're going to go and we're going to vote with bringing 7 people with us, right? We're going to get 7 people. We're going to bring them to the polls and vote. Thank you again, Joseph TRAHAN, for your presence, and my co-host LaDonna Sherwood. We can go at it, but we love doing what we do. Oh, you smiled. I was giving you a tip in, and tip out. So anyway,
well, you know me. I'm being quiet because but I'm super excited. I am super excited to be the co-host of Knowledge is Power podcast, because I feel like here on this broadcast we really bring it to you straight. We really bring you what you need. We cut out all the fluff and we get to the important stuff. That's right. Really how I feel about this.
That's right.
We get straight down to business and make sure that you have what you need to be where you need to be to impact your community and make your life better. Not waiting for somebody else to hand you a free meal or something. We want you to get your own self together, and we want to make sure we get everybody together to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and get strapped and be ready for whatever. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That's what we're here to do.
That's right. And we believe in having it facts. We're not going to tell you anything we don't know. We want you to know the truth. And we'll know the truth. And also, people, be aware of your CDC updates, guidelines, and we're going to give those guidelines on the screen here. Make sure you understand that COVID-19 spreads very easily from person to person. Mask up. Put your mask on. Don't worry about it. They don't have their mask on. You make sure you have your mask on. COVID-19 most commonly spreads during close contact within 6 feet. I'm sorry. Infection is more likely to longer and closer you are to a person with COVID-19. And also, COVID-19 can sometimes spread by airborne transmission. People, please mask up. Protect yourself. Stay safe. This is nothing to play with. This is not a hoax. COVID-19 spreads less commonly through contact with contaminated surfaces and rarely spreads between people and animals. Please be aware of COVID-19. Coronavirus. It is real. It is still here, and we want you to stay and be safe. Joseph, thank you again, my friend. Can you hear?
Oh, I can see me now.
Yeah, yeah. I thank you again for joining us, and hope to see you again as we go live at the polls during early voting. Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
God
Tony
bless
and
you.
LaDon.
Did we miss anything?
Just remember, early voting starts this Tuesday, October 13th through October 30th. Be there, be square.
All right. I got it. We there. Be there.